Oh, what a tangled web we weave when first we practice to deceive. Philip. Hello, welcome to my channel, The Grape Jelly Library, where we love to talk about books. And today we are going to talk about a book that I read just about 3 weeks ago, Be My Baby by Ronnie Spector. And it was co-written by Vince Waldron. And I'm going to tell you all about it, what I thought, and some of the ins and outs of this book. Hopefully you will pick a copy up for yourself. Now, I am participating in the Read What You Own challenge, and I did buy that book last year for my birthday, so I decided as part of this challenge I would read that one this year, coincidentally, on my birthday. Okay, so guess what? Here it is in a nutshell. Ronnie Spector. She had a loving family, loving mother, loving father. Her father was an alcoholic, and he did struggle with that, but she did love her father nonetheless. Okay, so she had a sister, she had a cousin, very close-knit family. So Ronnie, who was born Victoria Bennett and given the nickname Ronnie, her sister, and her cousin were monkeying around, and they formed this sort of girl group. Well, one thing led to another, and in time, they were told, give Phil Spector a call. Phil. Good old Phil. Okay, so guess what? I'm going to tell you. All right. Now, what happened is Ronnie's living in Spanish Harlem, and Phil Spector is a millionaire by the time that he meets Ronnie. Oh, okay. Phil is taking a cab over to Ronnie's place and having Ronnie foot the cab fare because he's that kind of guy. All right, so meanwhile, Ronnie, while growing up, has the biggest crush on Frankie Lyman. Now, I didn't know what Frankie Lyman looked like or what Frankie Lyman sang. I only heard of his name throughout my lifetime. So, in reading this book, it was time to find out. Immediately recognized the song, and when I saw his appearance, I knew I had seen him, several times along my path in life. All right, so Ronnie absolutely loves Frankie Lyman, and that story about Frankie is a fabulous story, I'm sure, in and of itself. He's had his own struggles in life. Don't we all? Yes, I guess that's why I love a memoir, the ups and downs, and the honesty of a person's life. So, just a little brief note about Frankie. He himself was into alcohol and into drugs and into fast women, and he himself was living a very fast life at a very young age, and you burn that candle at both ends, and sooner or later it's going to catch up to you, and it absolutely did for Frankie. And I think that's a tragedy because talent, gifts, being wasted away. That's sad to me. Okay, so back to Ronnie and Philip. Woo! Philip is something. He's a character. They say that Philip is a genius. He created the wall of sound. Very good sound. If you listen to songs that Ronnie Spector and the Ronettes sang, Frosty the Snowman, I'm sure you've heard a million Christmas songs, or not a million songs, but heard her Christmas songs a million times. Yeah, of course, Be My Baby. Well, guess what? Phil was putting her on the map, or helping to propel her career further, and somehow ended up falling in love with Ronnie. And then we all know what happens when Phil falls in love with somebody or thinks that somebody is his possession, he kind of takes them out of the spotlight so no eyes remain on them, and hence sabotages Ronnie's career by not giving her the exposure that she was or should have been afforded. He kept her under wraps strictly out of jealousy, didn't want to have to compete with anybody. Phil Spector is a clown. Phil Spector is a fool. I know I'm not being nice. Cut it out, Floss, cut it out. And you know, I'm aware Phil Spector is somebody's child, was somebody's child. But he wasn't mine. I do not care for that man. I think he is evil. I think he is a monster. I think he is a lunatic. I think he's insane. The things that he did to his children, that he did to his wife Ronnie, the way that he put himself up there on that pedestal and just thought that he was better than everybody else because he was Phil Spector. He created the wall of sound. He was a fool that got lucky. He had the right idea at the right time, right place, right time. He got lucky. Phil, he later on down the line went on to become a murderer. If you didn't know that, you should Google what Philip did to Lana Clarkson, I believe, and then you'll know just what an evil person Phil is. I read this book. Why? Why did I read this book? This book right here. I read this book because A, it was on my shelf. B, I like a good memoir. C, I wanted to know, what did she see in that fool? What did she see in Phil? Like, she married the man. I think she was married to him for like 6 years. That's a long time. So, what attracted her to him? Okay, so what goes up must come down, right? So with the bad qualities, there's got to be good qualities. Maybe the good qualities overshadowed the bad qualities. I don't know. Maybe you'll read the book and you'll disagree with me. I don't know. I am not a fan of Phil, and that's probably why I wanted to read this book. Maybe more so about Phil than it was actually about Ronnie. Now, if I hear the Ronettes on the radio, I won't necessarily change the dial, but I'm never ever going to seek them out. And I have heard her Christmas songs a lot, and I don't recall ever changing the dial. I don't want to say that I'm indifferent because I do think there's some enjoyment in their music. But, yeah, like, I wouldn't go seeking it out. So, Ronnie herself in this book talks about how she was an alcoholic and how she struggled with that tremendously throughout her entire career and most of her life. You know, there were good people around her telling her, maybe you should put that bottle down, and she just didn't want to. She was not ready to do it. She was enjoying what she was doing, and she was going to keep doing that at the expense of disappointing others around her. It wasn't about them. It was about her and what she was chasing and what she was trying to escape as well. So that was very interesting. I did enjoy this book. I do recommend it. It's a very easy read. This book did its job in that it was informative, interesting, educational. It's a great educational tool in history to use for history. History doesn't always have to be who was I going to say? Napoleon. There we go, Napoleon. Or maybe George Washington, or maybe Fidel Castro, whatever your history is. Sometimes history is a little bit of rock and roll, right? So I came out educated, and I came out more informed because of this book, not just in the rock and roll era kind of way, or the Ronnie Spector kind of way, or the Phil Spector kind of way, but in an interesting way. I think like now when I hear these songs on the radio from the Ronettes, I will no longer take them at face value because I know the backstory, and what an interesting backstory it is. Whatever you are reading, I hope you are having a ball. Remember that I love you. I do not have any words of wisdom today, but I have well wishes. I wish you bright sunny days. I wish you happiness and joy, and I wish you peace and health. Until we meet again. Toodles!